Hi, I'm Jess and this is a monthly recommendations video. Monthly recommendations is a Goodreads group run by Trina over at Between Chapters and Kayla Rain. I will link their channels and the Goodreads group down below for you to take part in it. So this month's topic is standalones and I have 10 to talk about, so let's get started. So my first is Clarent, which you may argue is not a standalone. It is part of the Abhorsen series, but I've not read the first half of the Abhorsen series, and Clarent stands on its own perfectly fine as a standalone fantasy novel, and so I really like it as that, and I don't know if I'm going to read the Abhorsen trilogy, but I might do if I get round to it. But Clarent definitely stands on its own, and Clarent is a really strong character who has to move from her small forest village to the big city because her dad gets a job there, and she really hates it and hates having to like have manners and be like the high class people in society. And the world does have magic, but Clarent is not interested in magic, and neither are any of the high class people because they feel like it's for low class people, which is weird. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one and I recommend it. Next is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon. This is a contemporary romance about a girl who is allergic to everything and cannot go outside, and then a boy moves next door. She starts like instant messaging him, and she sort of yearns for this real life that she could have if she could go outside, and it's really great. It's got a great twist and I really loved it. Next is Simon vs. the Homo sapiens Gender, which you've probably heard a lot about, and it's about a boy who is gay, but he's not out yet, but he's in a secret online relationship with a boy at his school, but he doesn't know who that boy at his school is. He just knows that they're in the same school. So it's him finding out who this boy is and having this relationship and coming out, and yeah, it's just really heartwarming and it's just romance at its best. Next is Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover, and yes, it has a novella, but that doesn't make it not a standalone. And it's about a girl who finds out her boyfriend is cheating on her, and so she has to move out, and she finds the boy across the way has a room going, and he is a musician and songwriter, and she helps him out being a songwriter because she's good at that too. So it's such a great romance, a bit of like he's in a relationship but they have attraction to each other, but that doesn't hinder it for me. I feel like they're very respectful of his relationship and they don't like do anything about it. They very much try to fight the attraction that they have for each other, and it's really great. And next is Slammed, which again is one that you might fight me on and say it's not a standalone, but yes, it has 2 books in the series, but I'm never going to read those. I don't want to read those because I think Slammed should have been a standalone. I like the short story we got of them, I loved it, and I feel like it should be a standalone. It's basically a girl who moves to this town, goes on this date with the boy next door, and then finds out that he's a little bit older than her and is a teacher at her school, and they can't date, and it's them struggling to like know that they really like each other but can't do anything about it. Next, I feel like this is another one that has a series, but I don't see it as having a series, and that's The Giver. It does have a companion series to it, but I don't want to read them because I just like The Giver and I think it was great, and so it just opened my eyes to loads of things, and it was just had really good thoughts in it and I loved it, but I don't want another book in this world, so I'm not going to read those. Next is actually a standalone, and that's Reality Boy by A.S. King, and I read this one a while ago. I think it was my first A.S. King book, but it might have been Everybody Sees the End, so it was my first one. It's about a boy who was on a reality show when he was younger. It's like Super Nanny, and he is bullied about this show all the time, and he's just trying to get away from this bullying, and it's really great, but I can't remember a lot of it, but I remember I really loved it. Next is another one I read ages ago, and that is Invisibility by I think Andrea Cremer and David Levithan, and it's about a boy who is invisible It's about a boy who is invisible, and then a girl moves in next door, and she's like moving her boxes in the hallway, and she like looks at him rudely for not offering to help her, and he is stunned because no one's ever been able to see him before, and then he starts trying to figure out why she can see him, and a romance ensues, obviously, but it was really great. Next was All Our Yesterdays. It was planned to be a series, but then it came out years ago and it never became a series, so I'm assuming there's no series. But it's a time travel book and also romance. I don't remember a lot of it, but again, I remember really, really loving it, and it was probably the first time travel novel I ever read. And lastly, I have all of Rainbow Rowell's books, so Eleanor and Park, Fangirl, Carry On, and Landline and Attachments, and they're all standalones, and I loved them all, so I could not pick one. I have reviews of most of them, I think, somewhere in my channel, and that was my monthly recommendation. Let me know any standalones that you recommend down below, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!